This is Dr. Abdul Mubin A. Mundewadi. I will be speaking today on the topic Ayurveda research, status, and future. Ayurveda basically means a science of life. It is therefore not just a system of medicine, but involves a detailed description of how to live a healthy and productive life, culminating in physical and spiritual salvation. The most well-known treatises of Ayurveda include the Charak Samhita, which is a textbook of medicine, the Sushrut Samhita, which is a textbook of surgery, the Ashtang Sangrah and Ashtang Hriday, both being complete combination treatises, the Madhav Nidan, which is a treatise on pathophysiology, the Bhav Prakash, a herbal pharmacopoeia, and the Sharangdar Samhita, which is a pharmaceutical treatise. In the era of Charak, Sushrut, and Vagbhat, the use of herbal medicines predominated. This was gradually replaced by the use of minerals and metals due to their inherent properties of increased potency, lesser dosage, faster action, and a greater shelf life. All of this resulted in better clinical results and increased patient compliance. It is well known that Ayurvedic texts give a detailed description of anatomy, pathophysiology, clinical examination of patients, history taking, details of diseases, and a detailed treatment protocol, including avoidance of causative or aggravating factors, detoxification procedures, treatment with medicines, and diet instructions. Now, with this background of Ayurveda, several questions come to mind. One, is this knowledge given in the texts scientific and evidence based? 2. Has this knowledge been scientifically proved and validated using current medical research protocols? 3. Is Ayurvedic practice relevant to modern medical needs? 4. Do Ayurvedic medicines have quality control data? 5. What is the current status of research in Ayurveda? And lastly, 6. What is the future scope of Ayurvedic research? In the following description is outlined an answer to all these questions. Yes, Ayurveda is both scientific as well as evidence based. It has an ancient text backing. The treatment principles are unchanged since the last nearly 3000 years. Both day to day illnesses as well as serious and chronic illnesses can be successfully treated with a high success rate based on the treatment methodology given in ancient Ayurvedic texts, including formulation of a pathophysiology based on history taking, listing of causative factors, and an assessment of the doshas. Diseases described in modern allopathy, such as autoimmune disorders, neurodegenerative disorders, and metabolic diseases, have been successfully treated using the Ayurvedic principles of treatment, even though these diseases are specifically not mentioned by name in the ancient Ayurvedic texts. Evidence of successful treatment of common diseases has been documented both by the Ayush Ministry as well as private Ayurvedic pharmaceutical companies. The Government of India has come up with a publication titled Ayurvedic Standard Treatment Guidelines through the Ayush Ministry. The first edition was dated 2017. The Ministry of Health has also published an Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of India in two parts and several volumes each, with about 645 monographs on single herbs, herbal formulations, metal ash or basma, and minerals. These are details of a standardized method of identification, collection, purification, preparation, chemical analysis, uses, and doses, etc. There are 57 approved Ayurvedic texts as per the Ayush Ministry. Many Ayurvedic ancient texts are now available in digital form, though the access is paid. English translations of Ayurvedic texts are also available online. The Indian Council of Medical Research and the Central Council for Research in Ayurveda and Siddha have started a clinical trials registry of India in 2016, which has made it mandatory for all clinical trials to be registered. Several portals have been launched to facilitate this registration. These are to be included in the WHO International Registry for Clinical Trials. With this, all knowledge related to clinical trials has come out in the public domain. The Postgraduate Center for Research in Ayurveda, Jamnagar, has come out with a CD initially and now an online website titled Researches in Ayurveda, which has data of more than 20,000 titles related to clinical research work conducted across 60 postgraduate Ayurvedic institutes from 1958 onwards. There is paid access to this website. The Indian Council of Medical Research has published 19 volumes of quality standards of Indian medicinal plants covering more than 600 plants. Herbal is a series by Mark Blumenthal available on the American Botanical Council website, providing herbal research related information from 1995 onwards. If you type herbal medicine in the NLM PubMed portal, it throws up 56,000 results. If you type in the name of any commonly used Ayurvedic formulation in Google or Google Scholar, it will throw up at least 3 to 5 published clinical trials assessing the medicine for efficacy and at least 2 to 3 articles on chemical composition, standardization, and quality control data for the formulation. Physicochemical tests, presence of functional groups which are tannins, alkaloids, glycosides, proteins, carbohydrates, flavonoids, etc. and HPTLC profile are standard information provided for the manufacturing process. Quality control tests include chemical testing and elemental assay, usually the HPTLC and X-ray diffraction, also known as XRD. There are more than 30 documented therapies. Several scientific journals have documented the health benefits of Abhyanga or massage. Scientists in Japan as well as in India have studied and documented the neurological benefits of Shirodhara. Leech therapy has been approved by the US FDA and is defined as a medicinal device indicated for use as an adjunct to graft tissue healing. Kshar Sutra has been accepted as an alternative to piles surgery with improved outcomes, and there are related published articles both from India as well as Japan. So this discussion answers most of the questions outlined previously. But this does not at all mean that research in Ayurveda is an easy thing. So what are the problems related to clinical trials? These are outlined as follows. Inadequate funding, especially from multinational pharmaceutical companies due to inability to patent herbs. Treatment protocols differ according to different patient prakrutis or constitutions. Double blinding may be difficult due to the characteristic herbal odor or taste. A holistic approach to treatment includes medicines, dietary advice, and lifestyle changes, not just with medicines. Variations in drug dosages and administrations, improper selection of herb and incorrect dosage, chemical extract of drug used instead of whole herb, all this may lead to a change in the properties of the medicine. One such example is Yashti Madhu, Glycyrrhiza glabra, which is a herb, whereas glycyrrhizin extract is usually used nowadays, which is an extract. So the properties of the two may differ entirely. Problems with standardization and clinical effects seen with medicines. Allopathy study drug will contain one chemical molecule. An Ayurvedic formulation may contain several ingredients and each ingredient will contain hundreds of active principles. So the allopathy module of a randomized, blinded, controlled clinical trial may not be exactly suitable for Ayurvedic medicines. A chemical molecule may have pronounced clinical effects noticeable in most patients, and hence the same medicine can be given successfully with positive effects to a group of similar patients. Ayurvedic medicines may not have pronounced effects unless chosen as per the decided pathophysiology. Since most Ayurvedic herbs and formulations are labeled as shaman drugs, that is, they balance imbalanced doshas but do not work on normal balanced doshas. This is seen in clinical day-to-day practice. Ayurvedic medicines, say for example, A plus B plus C will cure one patient, whereas the same combination may not work at all for another patient with the same disease if the formulated pathophysiology as per causes and doshas is different. With this discussion, we come to the last question. What does the future hold for research in Ayurveda? Actually, the possibilities could be endless. But being primarily a clinician, I would like to mention just a few related points here. 1. Autoimmune disorders have been increasing at an exponential rate. Patients have to use immune suppressants to control their symptoms. These drugs have their own side effects and limitations. Simple Ayurvedic medicines combined with Panchakarma procedures have proved to bring about relief as well as prevent relapses. Robust documentation is needed in this field. 2. Neurodegenerative disorders have very limited treatment options currently available. Ayurvedic treatment has immense potential here, which again needs clinical validation and documentation. Comatose patients have been treated successfully with Ayurvedic medicines. Stroke patients recover completely if Ayurvedic treatment is instituted at the earliest. Again, clinical validation and documentation is required. 3. Ayurveda can give strong supplementary support in treating cancer treatment, side effects, and helping treat non-responsive or relapsed patients or patients on end-stage palliative treatment. One such example is of Ayurvedic treatment in different leukemias. 4. Documentation of Ayurvedic treatment in kidney failure patients. 5. The use of Ayurveda in preventing hereditary and congenital diseases, mainly with the use of rasayan therapy before and during pregnancy. And lastly, 6. The use of rasayan and vajikaran therapies to help the geriatric population, the elderly population, to live more healthy and fulfilling lives. With this, I end my talk on my topic Ayurveda research, status, and future. For your questions, you can contact me on the contact details given at the end. Thank you very much.